Hey, it's me again with Corel Tips and Tricks. Somebody sent me this logo and want to know how to reproduce this. Well, I see a cube and I see a six-sided polygon. There's several ways you could make this. Let's move this up here. Matter of fact, let's make it larger. It would probably almost trace it. But we're going to start with a six-sided, and I'm going to probably have to back up a couple of times and do some. And then I'm going to take that and I'm going to go to Object and effects and contour. I'm going to contour the inside 1 inch. Now I could put lines here and just cut them away. Let me make this a little bigger. I kind of messed up my contour. Let's go up to Object, Break Contour Apart. Let's take that center one and let's contour again. Let's contour 2 inches. Make that a little thicker. And then let's go ahead and break that apart. Object, Break Contour Apart. And then let's draw another six-sided polygon and hit P, put it in the center. And there's several ways to do this. Go ahead and finish the cube inside. Freehand tool from the middle outwardly. Freehand tool to the middle. That's gonna, well, that didn't work. Let me back up. That's why it's probably always better to center and move outwardly for the first one at least, because you'll know you'll be in the center. So there's our cube, and one, I didn't do it very good. Make sure you get on the nose. Now I could very easily take, you know what that might be saying. Let's take a rectangle and let's hit P to put it in the center of the page. And let's take it holding down the control button. And then I'm going to Control D, alternate, and have it rotate 120, and then Control D. Probably a little thicker than his, but he'll get the idea. And let's take the Smart Fill tool. I'm going to go ahead and use blue, and then voila. Then select it all. Take away your lineage, which I don't like to do. Now I'm a little thicker, and there's several other ways to do this, but I think that would be probably the easiest. And if you wanted to, you could, well, let's just do that so we can kind of prove a point. Let's move this out of the way. And this will not center because the picture is bigger on this side, but we could take a six-sided polygon, and I'm going to hit P and I'll show you where it's off. So I need to make it bigger, so I'm going to hold down the Shift key so it'll grow from the inside. And then I'm going to kind of just place it. Still need to hold down the Shift and make it grow. I'm trying to reproduce it more perfectly. Let's make it a little bit bigger, holding down the Shift key. And then take your nudge factor and set on like 0.1 and grab your box and move it down. So we're a little bit big. Let's make it, with our ratio locked, let's make it 11.4. That's pretty good. Now, Control D, hold down the Shift key and bring that in. And then let's take another polygon, holding down the Shift or the Control button, and let's hit P. My way is a little bit faster, but holding down the Shift. If you need exactly that logo, I don't know if he needs exactly that logo or just, now, just a second, I'm going to move this out of the way and get everything more in the center. So let's just make a rectangle about that size. Whoop. Drew a second rectangle. And this needed to make it that size. So I'm just going to two-sided arrow and push that in. I'm not holding down the Shift key because I want it to, but I'm not in the center yet. It's a little easier said than done. Let's make it a 1.6 and then just nudge it over a little bit. There we go. That's perfect. Now, move this out of the way because I want to take this. You know what? I'm just going to take everything and hit P. You see how I put it in the center of the page? Well, I got rid of my lineage, didn't I? Well, I didn't put my lines in yet, maybe. So then I can take this box, holding down the, I'm going to need to make it longer. Control D, alternate C, rotate it 120 degrees. Control D. You know what? We could go ahead and fill these in. You know what? That's going to be our box. So we have to, let's fill these in with blue. And then I don't like to take away the lines. I like to delete them because if we look on this and we look at it under wireframe, the lines are still there. So I like to delete the lines and just you were able to ever cut it out. So I can just delete these lines now, but I'm leaving that center polygon. And I've got the same size I had. So now I'm just going to take a 2-point line, hold down the, go from the center outwardly. Once you go out, I mean from the center out, you can do whatever you want. And then let's just fill those in. Whoop, got a little leak. That line right there is not all the way. So I'm going to take my shape and go right there. Now let's get rid of that line. Now let's work on the colors. I don't know if this is the back of a color, but we're going to select both those by holding down the shift key. Well, I guess they're connected. And we're going to get the attribute eyedropper or color eyedropper, take a sample of that and put it in there. Then we're going to get the color eyedropper. And this is only if you make it the exact color. Well, I'm going to have to get the pick tool and pick off that to change it to the eyedropper mode. Let's get a sample, pour it in there, pour it in there, pour it in there. Now, if he needed that same color, let's just make a rectangle. And, you know, you could really smart fill it, but it would be better not to have those items in there. So I'm going to make my nudge factor like 15, and I'm going to nudge that box out of the way. And then I'm actually going to use my smart fill tool on this one. Does the same thing as the attribute or the color eyedropper. Let's get that gray. Let's take away the outline. Well, you can't take away the outline, but you could do this. Go up to Object, Order, Back a Page. And let's go ahead and hit P, put that in the center. And if you look at them side by side, I'd be really surprised if anybody could see the difference. Well, the difference is mine is sharp and clear, and theirs is fuzzy and pixelated. That's an exact copy. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope that helped him a little bit. Thank you for watching.